In this lesson, you'll be learning 20 minor key progressions as inspiration for creating loops or backing tracks to solo over, or for when you're at your next jam night or looking to maybe write a song of your own. As with my previous lesson on major key progressions, we're going to be working with 4 measures of 4/4 time at 120 BPM, and we're going to look to fill that with a series of different progressions in the key of A minor. So A minor lives at 12 o'clock on the circle. Let's hear that one chord. Alright, we're going to start with some 2-chord progressions, so it makes sense to start with the primary chords, that's the 1, 4 and 5. So here is a minor 1, 4. So from our 1 chord, we will move counterclockwise in that inner layer, then we have the chord of D minor. There's a 1 chord to a 4 chord. Now, in researching for this video, I went through a series of playlists on Spotify, like the best of the decades, and there was just one song that came up there. It was Moves Like Jagger by Maroon 5. It lives in the key of B minor, and it's just 4 measures of each chord, just a minor 1, 4. So check that one out. A little more common would be a 1, 5. So from the A minor, we're going to move clockwise to the 5 chord of E minor. Now you might recognize this. This is the exact progression heard in R.E.M's Losing My Religion. I also heard it in Can't Get You Out of My Head by Kylie Minogue. It was in Bruno Mars' Grenade. And also White Flag by Dido. Quite an eclectic mix, but a common progression there, the 1, 5. Now the thing to know about the 5 chord in the minor key is that whilst theoretically it will be a minor chord, the scale dictates that, it is often the case that a major 5 chord is played instead of the minor form. So instead of E minor, you would play the chord of E major or maybe E dominant 7th. So let's hear that and then I'll give you a couple of examples. So here's firstly the 1, 5 minor version. Once again, now here's the major version. And just hear this subtle difference. But that major 5 has a slightly stronger pull back to the 1 chord. And we hear it in songs like the Rolling Stones' Paint It Black. It's in the key of E minor. And I also heard it in Tom Jones's Delilah in the verse. That is in the key of A minor. So that's a 1, 5, rather a 1 major 5. Very common in the minor key. We'll see that a lot more as we progress. The next chord pair I've got for you is a 1, 6. So that is going to be a counterclockwise move to the outer layer for the chord of F. So it's A minor to F. Just again, 2 measures of each. Now this is heard in a slightly different harmonic rhythm in the Chili Peppers' Californication. It's the main verse progression. I also heard it in Blondie's Call Me in the verse. And it's also in the Foo Fighters' Best of You in C sharp minor. The last chord pair we've got is a 1, 7 in the minor key. That will be going down a whole step to a major chord. So A minor to G. Now I hear this and I think Total Eclipse of the Heart, Bonnie Tyler. It's that progression in the verse. Also heard it in some of these other songs, Somebody That I Used to Know. Gautier in the key of D minor, Runaway by Aurora, Nights in White Satin by the Moody Blues, She Will Be Loved by Maroon 5. It's the verse progression. So quite common that one, a 1, 7. Moving now on to a 4-chord progression, we're going to go from the 1 chord to the 3 with a series of different progressions. Here's your first one. So 1, 3, 4, 6. A minor to C, D minor to F. Now this is the chorus of Blondie's Call Me. You probably recognize that. I also heard it in a song by Coldplay. Their song Princess of China is in the key of A minor, the one they did with Rihanna. That's the 1, 3, 4, 6. Moving on to the next one, the 1, 3, 5, 7. It's A minor to C, to E minor, to G. What is love? Hadaway. What is love? Classic tune, uses this progression. As did I discovered another Aurora tune running with the Wolves. So that's the 1, 3, 5, 7. Let's take another 1, 3. This time 1, 3, 6, 5. Major 5. This is in the song Crazy by Gnarls Barkley. Heard it more recently in a slower tempo in Teddy Swim's Lose Control. So again, that major 5 chord at the end has that strong pull back to the 1 chord. A couple more 1, 3s. This time we're going to go 1, 3, 7 with the 1, 3, 7, 4. Just Dance. Lady Gaga's Just Dance, one of my favourite songs of hers, has that progression. And then here is maybe a more common one, a 1, 3, 7, 6. That's A minor, C, G, F. Let's hear that one. I found this in Caesar's Jerk It Out, X Ambassador's Renegades, Miley Cyrus's Wrecking Ball, One Republic's Counting Stars. They all use this progression. Moving on to a 4-chord sequence beginning 1, 4, I found one, and it was a 1, 4, 6, 7. Now this one is found in U2's 1. We're going to jump from the 4 to the 6 because honestly I didn't find many 4-chord progressions that have the 5 chord in the second measure. There were some, and you'll find the comprehensive list of all my findings available on Patreon. But moving on to the 1, 6, here is a common one. 3-chord progression. 1, 6, 7. Now I hear this and I'm getting Fleetwood Mac's Go Your Own Way in the key of D minor. It is this sequence. It's also kind of the main progression or the second progression in Dire Straits' Sultans of Swing in the key of D minor. And I found it in Three Doors Down, Kryptonite. The 1, 6, 7. Next 3-chord progression beginning 1, 6 is a 1, 6, 5. You'll recognize this. You're a kid of my generation, you're probably hearing a bit of the Backstreet Boys. Yeah, everybody. Backstreet's back in the key of B flat minor. Alternatively, a little older. Sweet Dreams are made of this by Eurythmics, covered by Marilyn Manson. More recently, this was found in Camila Cabello's Havana. Smooth by Santana as well, using that progression, that major 5. One progression for you using the 2 chord. So the 2 is a diminished triad. We see it used as a minor 7 flat 5. So that is the 7th chord created from a diminished chord in 2-5-1 progressions in a minor key. This was one example that I found. You might recognize this before I tell you. More recently covered by Maneskin. This is Frankie Valli's Beggin'. That's a 1, 6, 2, 5 in our key of A minor, originally in the key of D minor. the 1625 in the minor key. Let's go something similar, but instead of the 2, we're going to play the 3, 1635. Now you think it's the 4-chord song, but it's not quite. That minor 5 at the end gives you a slightly different sound. This is the progression running throughout Amy MacDonald's This Is the Life. That's C sharp minor, the 1635. That then brings us onto the famous 4-chord song in the minor version. So the 4-chord song, thinking about minor key, I'd call this a 1637. It's going to be A minor F C G. So in my research, I heard this in Scott McKenzie's San Francisco, Eagle Eye Cherry Save Tonight, Chili Peppers' Other Side, Snow by Chili Peppers as well, Kelly Clarkson's Stronger, Avril Lavigne's Complicated, Bruno Mars' Grenade, and John Legend's All of Me. They all use this progression. It's the 4-chord song, very common. Next progression, similar, but we're going to switch out the 3 for the 4. And this gives you, again, my generation, I'm hearing Destiny's Child, Say My Name. No one is around. There's also the White Town's Your Woman. Da, 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 da. Or this exact progression is found in Sha La 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 La, yeah, Counting Crows, Mr. Jones. The 1647. Moving on to progressions beginning with the 1-7. The first one seemed to be very popular a few years back. Loads of pop tunes had this progression. 1736. So I rediscovered Kesha's Die Young using this, as does Tayo Cruz's Dynamite. In slightly different harmonic rhythms, but this is the chord sequence. And they're both in C sharp minor. Then we get into some truly timeless classic progressions. The first being the 1-7-6, so we're walking down the scale. This one you'll probably recognize. It is the closing progression in Stairway to Heaven. It's the guitar solo. Also heard it in Supertramp's Breakfast in America. It's key of C minor. And it is, in 6/8 time, it is the main progression of Nothing Else Matters by Metallica. That's in the key of E minor. Same chords, but in a different sequence. This is another classic one, 6-7-1. So we're walking up to the 1 chord. I hear this and I think of Stevie Nicks' Edge of 17, which is in the key of E minor. I also heard Anastasia's Left Outside Alone. It's in the chorus of that song. It's also in the chorus of Running Up That Hill by Kate Bush. 6-7-1. Using those chords again, but a 4-chord sequence, a 1-7-6-7. Now this is the progression being outlined in that classic picking part found in Blue Oyster Cult's Don't Fear the Reaper. That is in A minor. I also heard it in Hall & Oates' Man-Eater. It's the chorus of Somebody That I Used to Know by Gautier. Also the chorus of Rolling in the Deep by Adele. And it's in All Along the Watchtower as covered by Mr. Jimi Hendrix. Another classic pop progression here, 1-7-5-6. You might recognize this. So A, G, E minor to F. Sounds familiar, right? To me, I hear Pat Benatar's Love is a Battlefield. It's also Chili Peppers' Can't Stop, Macklemore's Can't Hold Us, and Jennifer Lopez, Waiting for Tonight. And then we conclude with the 1-7-6-5, the descending Andalusian cadence. This is going to be using the major 5 chord. Let's give that one a listen. Down a whole step, down a whole step, down a half step. So they're all major chord, major, major. So I found this in the Turtles' Happy Together. It was also in Del Shannon's Runaway. The Animals Don't Let Me Be Understood. And it is also the other main progression in Sultans of Swing. It's the progression over which the first solo is played, the 1-7-6-5. So there you go, I lost count, a good 20 plus minor key progressions for you to learn and enjoy. On Patreon this week, you will get a PDF of all of those progressions, plus my lesson notes, the research for this lesson in which I have all of the progressions I discovered and the corresponding songs. For a lesson on common major key progressions, you want to click right here. Just before you do, please don't forget to like the lesson if you enjoyed it, and do subscribe if it's your first time here with me. Practice well, and I'll see you next week.